Brian Snitker, high school state champion. What
No,
year?
almost. We got beaten the championship game.
How much does that hurt this many years later?
Not for me. No, it doesn't.
No.
I mean, the ride was unbelievable. Great experience. I mean, it was like, we're in Illinois. It's a one-class system. We got
Right.
250 kids in our high school. We're playing teams and did beat a team at Chicago Lane Tech that had 5,000 boys. So it was a pretty cool ride.
Were these guys that you played with all through Little League too, for the most part?
Yeah, for the most part. We all
Yeah.
grew up together, majority of us, and played against some of them. And then, once we started middle school or junior high and high school, then, we all kind of morphed in together. And
So I don't want to age you, but we played Little League in a time when it was a T-shirt with Mario's Pizza on it. You got on your bike with your bat and your glove, and that was your baseball.
that was me. I mean, my first uniform, like the traveling team, they called it. So that means, we just went to the local towns around where we grew up in Illinois. And man, my aunt told me back, it's like, God, you brought this radio uniform home. I couldn't have been more proud. I mean, to have this uniform.
That's called making a team.
Yeah, what? And it was. You tried out, you made the team. Not everybody made it. Not everybody got a trophy. We didn't have snack.
And by the way, look, I don't even remember. I see parents at everything now. I'm a parent of daughters who play soccer. I'm there a lot. I don't remember my dad. It was a struggle to get to games. He was working.
Oh, he's working. Yeah. I mean, my dad would come maybe on the weekends.
Right.
But no, they didn't. They like me. I missed majority of my son growing up. I saw 3 innings of high school baseball, and that was because I came home for my daughter's graduation.
So when you're coming out of high school, look, you're the right age. You're a catcher. Johnny Bench had kind of revolutionized the whole thing with the one-handed catching.
Oh, no, I had his poster in my room, the Sports Illustrated posters you got.
So are you right in that mindset of guys had always done this, now all of a sudden Bench has got a hand behind his back and boom, let's go?
Well, you know what, though? I grew up with the pud. Well, I learned to catch with the round, with the hole in the middle. And I caught my whole high school career. I didn't get, Johnny Bench hinged glove till I went to junior college.
Were you a hand behind your back guy? Or did
No, I got stuff, nubs and things like that because I got foul tipped and all that. But you learn to catch right when you do that. I mean, you have to move and you have to step and you got to center the ball. And it was, that was the right way to, and when I got in pro ball, I mean, guys were learning to catch with that pud.
So how do you end up down in New Orleans?
Well, I went to junior college in Lincoln, Illinois.
Right.
I had a really influential high school coach. His name is Tommy Sanchez. He's in the Illinois Baseball Hall of Fame, high school. But he was very close to me. And he got me hooked up with a guy named Chuck Lindstrom, whose father, Freddie Lindstrom, is a Hall of Famer. And Chuck was coaching the junior college team in Lincoln, Illinois, Lincoln College. And, I kind of wanted to go there because I said, if I go to a 4-year school, I'm not guaranteed of playing right away.
Right.
And if I go to junior college, then you can play. And so I went there for 2 years. And then he's like, where do you want to go? He's like, I'll help you get anywhere you want to go. And I was recruited to a couple of, like, Illinois State and, a few, Illinois schools.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, the New Orleans thing came. We had a pitcher named Mike Swingle that ended up going there. Or he was recruited. We were the same age. And our coach from New Orleans, Ron Maestri, is a Central Illinois guy in Peoria. So he kind of recruited up there. Knew Mace. It's like, you want to come to New Orleans? I'm thinking, wow, that sounds kind of cool.
So what is I'm assuming full head of hair, Brian Snitker, down in New Orleans. What kind of run do you get down there?
Oh, man. It's funny because there's a cool school. It's Lakefront School. It's kind of a commuter school.
Okay.
There's only one dorm where we stayed the first year. But the baseball was good. They just come off going to the Division II College World Series in Springfield, Illinois. It was great. The baseball program was really good. It was growing.
Okay.
And the French Quarter and all was your campus.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was.
So 20-year-old single guys.
So what does it cost the Atlanta Braves to make Brian Snitker part of the organization initially?
Oh, man. I don't know that I got anything, quite honestly. I signed. Bob Didier
Okay.
was from down there. I think he lived in Baton Rouge. He was just coming off his playing career. Was going to manage Kingsport in the rookie league. So he had like me and 3 other guys out for a tryout. I'd been drafted the year before by the Cubs, and I tore up my thumb. So the draft came, and I was just starting to play again. And I'm like, man, if I sign now and I haven't played all spring,
Right.
you know, I go there and I don't do very good, they'll kick me out the door in a heartbeat. So I didn't sign, and went back to school. Went back to school and played and didn't get drafted. So I didn't play and got drafted. I went back and played.
So that business decision wasn't necessarily a good one. So so you don't think you got anything? You didn't get?
No, I didn't. You know what? I signed.
Uh-huh.
And we worked out at DeKalb Junior College when they brought everybody in.
Okay.
You know, they brought all the draft picks, everybody in. It was Hank's first year as being the farm director. And
that's not intimidating or anything.
No, I mean, having him run around.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was, like I say, he was young 40-some years ago. I mean, but he was the farm director. You know, met Paul Snyder, Bobby Dews, all them. Well, I didn't meet Doozy till the next year because he was managing a full season team. But anyway, so I signed. We worked out at DeKalb Junior College, and I signed in the bathroom of, I think, Didier's room or whatever before we left.
And look at all this.
Yeah,
this
I didn't
many
get a
years
dime.
later.
I didn't get a dime.
So what's your equipment? I'm really asking. You bring your own glove. You
I
have
had my
your
glove,
own gear.
my cleats.
What about bats?
No, they gave you the bats.
But I mean, how many?
Oh, well,
these
you know
guys
what? Really,
got
back
buckets full.
yeah, oh man, it was. But even back then in the minor leagues, they gave you like your own order. I think now
Really?
these guys, if they don't have a bat contract and all, the club just provides these pro stock bats. We got bats with our names on them. You know, if you had got your script name, if you'd signed a bat contract, which I didn't, I had block letters. But you did get to pick model, size, weight, all that, and they'd give us like 6.5.
That seriously might be the most shocking thing that I've ever heard. I'm
Yeah.
really surprised.
Yeah.
Down at that level, they actually provided for you
Yeah.
guys.
Well, you know, in spring training, then I found it because you bought your own cleats, you had your own gloves,
Right.
all that kind of stuff. And I had a glove connection, a Rawlings connection, because I'd get the Johnny Bench. One of my best friends growing up, his father worked for the railroad.
Okay.
So, and he knew Neil Russo that wrote for the Sporting News years and years ago
Okay.
out of St. Louis. And he had a connection at the Rawlings factory, and I could get gloves at a cut rate price. And they were the good quality ones too.
So when you show up, like I've had guys tell me, the pitchers especially, I showed up and there were 10 of me, or there were 8 of me.
Yeah.
And you realize, you go, okay, I'm pretty good. But you start to look around a little bit. How quickly do you do a self-assessment?
Well, it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that kind of stuff kind of started for me when I went and played in those college leagues around the country, which was really cool to go. I played in the Valley and I played in the Central Illinois Collegiate League, and you're playing with guys from different parts of the country and some big schools. All these SEC, ACC schools, and it's then that's the first realization. It's like, you know what? I'm no different than these guys are. I can play with these guys.
Good.
Yeah, in a good way.
Right.
It's like I can compete with these guys. And so that kind of, I think, helped going into pro ball. And you get there and there's a lot of guys, and I'm thinking, okay, let's, kind of weigh this out a little bit. And
So what's the scouting report on you?
They probably didn't even have one. I was signed to fill out the roster.
So what do you think they were? Now you've assessed guys at every level of the minor leagues. What would have been the scouting report?
Well, I had a good arm, didn't know where it was going. I received the ball. I mean, my catching skills and all that were pretty good.
Okay.
And it was just, it's going to be, what you hit, and I did okay. I mean, I hit okay, and then all of a sudden I started scattering that ball around, and I mean, it was just kind of like the center field. When somebody'd steal, the center fielder would be like this.
So it's funny you say about the good receiving. That's a priority. That's because they can hit guys. Back then lineups are so different now.
Yeah.
You know better than anybody. 77 to 80. That's your professional career?
Yeah.
Do you know in 1980, or does somebody tell you in 1980?
You know what? I'm kind of figuring it out.
Yeah.
And then when it's like they bring you in and, we're going to put you on the DL, then I start throwing batting practice and hanging around and kind of doing some coaching type stuff. And then then I got called in and said, Hank, I want you to go down to the rookie league in Gulf Coast and help with the pitching down there after being a catcher. So I went down there and kind of helped Pedro Gonzalez. He's pretty much down there on his own back then.
So if you had been pissy about that,
Yeah.
If you had not gone,
I'd just, I'd have packed my bags and went home. I'd have went back, finished my degree, and I'd have probably ended up a college coach, I would imagine.
and everybody knows how long you've been here, but it is kind of interesting that because you make that decision here, they see what you can do with players, and all of a sudden that career takes off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's like you have to say yes. It's that whole concept of what do you say yes to, what do you say no to,
I
and
know,
what
yeah.
road do you end up going down?
Yeah.
That one decision
No, I
begets a
wondered,
million.
you don't believe me. I've thought about that more than once.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what if you wouldn't have said, or if they'd have said, well, we want you to coach in the minor leagues or go do that. It's like, nah, I'm going to go back home, and which a lot of guys do. I'm going to go back home and start my life.
Bobby said he was going to go back to California. He gets the phone call from the Yankees to say, do you want to actually be a coach? It's in your mind's eye. Well, I got to go. Off-season jobs. What are some of the things you did?
I built houses.
Okay.
Or I helped build houses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I ran around and had no clue. They're like, go get me, 16s and da-da-da-das and da-da-da nails. And I'm thinking, you better give me one of each if you want me to do that. And then we're putting the roof on. And I remember I hate heights, and I was so nervous I couldn't eat lunch for the whole time we were doing it. And I'm dragging these guys are walking these 2x4 walls, dragging troughs around and everything. And I'm dragging I'm thinking too, I'm like 3 stories up. And I'm like, holy smokes, I look over. So I get a ladder and I drag it around on the inside and do all that
Did you
stuff.
make it back for a second season of house building?
No, that was it. Then I went to Louisiana. I had a teammate at New Orleans who was a grad assistant at Nicholls State in Thibodaux. And I worked out of Morgan City, Louisiana in a pipe yard. And this was a job that you'd go to work at 5 in the morning and you didn't know when you were coming home because it was a pipe inspection.
Mm-hmm.
It was Patterson Inspection. I remember the name of it. But it's the dirtiest I've ever gotten in my life. I mean, I ruined so many clothes because you're using all this called
And you
bar
working with
salt.
Cajuns?
Oh yeah, and what, you know what you're working with mostly is contract laborers, guys from all over the world. That
Oh, really?
They have them there.
Mm-hmm.
They pay them, and then these labor. It's almost like labor camps where they break even. They pay to live everything they made, and you'd go in the mornings and you'd pick up these truckloads of these guys, and you take them out into the field. Like I said, there may be all of a sudden, let's go. We got a rush job for an oil rig. And you're there, you leave at 5 in the morning, you may not get home till 12 the next day.
So when guys complain a little bit about backfields and minor leagues, and
I think about a lot of that. I'm thinking,
I mean,
my
so
God.
at that point you go, I know what the difference is.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
exactly. It's just even, I say this year, I mean, now, and guys maybe complain about our travel, and I'm thinking, what's the complain about our travel?
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah. So were you old enough? We joked the other day. I've been coming here 25 years. I've never seen a guy do a jumping jack or touch their toes. Were you in camp when jumping jacks were a thing?
No, we did. When I was a player, that was part of it. I mean, Pedro Gonzalez, who I alluded to before, the man, they didn't have strength coaches then either. We had no weight programs, no strength coaches, and he led our first thing was jumping jacks. You'd do the burpees and stuff like that.
Well, they didn't call them burpees then. It was just like get down, push yourself up, and let's go and do it.
Up downs or whatever they call them.
So what about food? We were also talking about
good food. Yeah, well, back then you get up and you went to breakfast, and for lunch you'd get a cup of soup and a carton of jungle juice was the red punch, and then they graduated to like a bologna sandwich if you went on the road, and it was like. The bread was this big, and this meat was, it was one piece of bologna and one piece of cheese, and
it was a bread sandwich.
It was a bread sandwich, and that's what you had for lunch, And then you were on your own for dinner.
Yeah,
they gave you a little meal money.
Did you live with a family in the minors?
No, we lived in a hotel my first year.
Okay.
My second year, I lived in because my first spring training, I was with the AA team the whole time. So I didn't, it's like I got to the end of spring training. Al Gallagher, Dirty Al, was my manager. Not my manager. Bobby Dews actually was the AA manager. And I went to Dirty Al and I go, Dirty, where am I going, man? I mean, I'm thinking all my teammates from the rookie league are going to Greenwood, which was, it was A, AA, AAA. Yeah. That was it. There wasn't all these teams. So he said, now, Snit, you're coming with me. And I'm thinking, well, good, because I don't know anybody. I'm kind of,
no man's land.
Yeah, no man. Everybody's already teamed up with roommates. So I got this guy from Washington. We get us a trailer in the back of this Holy Roller Church in Greenwood, South Carolina. It's got holes in the floor, no air conditioning. We'd go to the tavern after games in the evening and play pinball just because it was air conditioning before we went back home and went to bed.
All right, last thing.
Okay.
Did you Did you face any Hall of Fame pitchers when you were in the minors? Do you know anybody that you faced that eventually ended up in the Hall of Fame?
Not that I can remember facing Clay Carroll.
Okay.
When at the end of his career in AAA, Will McEnany.
Who's the best arm you ever caught down in the minors?
Steve Bedrosian.
Okay. Well, there you go. Everybody knows. Everybody in Brace Country knows his name.
Yeah.
All right. We have work to do today.
All right. Thanks,
Appreciate
buddy.
it. Thanks. Everything good?
All right, my pleasure.
Good.
Yeah, it's
All right.
great.
Thank you.
Everything's good.
All right. Brian Snitker, manager of the